where people I had trained and mentored and shared lunches with turned their faces away as if my alleged crimes were contagious. The morning sun was bright and merciless as I stood on the sidewalk holding a cardboard box with my desk plant and a photo of my sister, wondering how my entire life had collapsed in less than an hour. My phone started ringing immediately with calls from my parents, from friends who worked in finance. Bank transfer authorizations with my employee identification number, emails that appeared to come from my company account, digital signatures that matched my official signature on file. Someone had built an entire architecture of fraud and placed my name on every supporting beam. I contacted 3 lawyers and all of them said the same thing with different words, that the evidence was overwhelming and fighting it would bankrupt me, long before I proved anything resembling innocence. By afternoon, I was searching for information about Vincent Caruso, trying to understand why he would target me specifically, what I had done to earn this particular destruction. He had been with Pemberton for 12 years, married to someone named Diana. For 8 years, no children. Lived in a house worth 3 times my annual salary, drove a car that cost more than I had earned. In my entire tenure at the company, nothing in his public profile suggested anything except success and stability. A man who had built his career on identifying financial irregularities and protecting company assets. As sunset approached, I sat by my window watching the sky turn colors. That reminded me of bruises purple and orange, and deep red, thinking about how I would tell my family that I was now unemployable in the only field I had ever known. Before I called anyone, before I made any decisions about what to do with the information, she said her husband Vincent had been embezzling from Pemberton Analytics for over 2 years, that he had developed a cocaine addiction that consumed thousands of dollars weekly, that he owed money to dealers who had started making threats that extended to her safety. She said the offshore accounts were real, but they belonged to him, that he had spent months carefully constructing a false trail that led directly to me because I was expendable and trustworthy in equal measure. Diana explained that Vincent had chosen me specifically because I had no powerful allies within the company, no family connections that could intervene, no history of causing problems or asking difficult questions. I was the perfect scapegoat precisely because I had been the perfect employee. She had discovered everything 3 weeks earlier, when she found transaction records hidden in his car, when she followed him to meetings with people who operated businesses that existed only after midnight, when she finally accessed his computer and saw the real evidence of what he had been doing. She told me she had spent those 3 weeks paralyzed by fear and denial, hoping there was some explanation that didn't end with her husband in prison and her life in ruins. But when she heard this morning that he had actually gone through with framing me, something fundamental shifted inside her. She said she couldn't watch an innocent person's life be destroyed to protect someone who had already destroyed their marriage and her faith in everything she thought she knew about the man she had built a life with. Diana pulled a tablet from her bag and showed me everything: bank statements that track Vincent's real transactions, security camera footage from his office, showing him accessing my account credentials from the master admin system, emails between him and his dealers discussing payment schedules, and threats, voice recordings she had made of him on the phone, arranging the frame with details so specific and calculated they made my stomach turn. It was comprehensive and damning, and exactly what I needed to prove my innocence, while simultaneously destroying him. But then she asked me for something I didn't expect and wasn't sure I could give. She needed 48 hours before I went public with any of it. She had already contacted a divorce attorney and arranged for her assets to be separated from his, but the paperwork wasn't finalized, and if Vincent discovered what she had done before everything was legally protected, I saw someone willing to do the right thing even when it cost them everything they had built. She said that watching Vincent destroy me had made her realize she had been complicit in his destruction of himself. I agreed to wait 48 hours, even though every minute of the delay felt like swallowing glass. Diana left with a promise to contact me the moment everything was secured. And for 2 days I lived in a suspended state between vindication and continued persecution, trusting a stranger with my entire future because something in her eyes told me she was worth that trust. On the morning of the 3rd day, Diana called and told me everything was in place, that her attorney had everything they needed, and I was free to proceed. I contacted the CEO of Pemberton Analytics directly and requested a meeting, walked into that office with my own lawyer and the tablet Diana had given me, and watched the color drain from executive faces as they realized what had actually happened. By noon, Vincent Caruso was being escorted out by actual police rather than security guards, his wrists in handcuffs and his face empty of everything except the dawning realization that his carefully constructed lie had collapsed entirely. The company offered me my job back with a raise and a formal apology that would be sent to every professional contact who might have heard about my termination. But I declined because I realized I didn't want to work for people who had believed I was guilty so easily, who had thrown me away without investigation or doubt. Instead, I took a position at a competing firm that had reached out after hearing the real story, offered me more money and actual respect, treated me like someone valuable rather than someone disposable. Diana divorced Vincent within a month, and last I heard she had started a non-profit organization that helped people escape situations where addiction had destroyed their families, turning her worst experience into something that might help others survive similar catastrophes. Vincent pleaded guilty to avoid trial and received 8 years in federal prison, his career destroyed and his reputation reduced to a cautionary tale about what happens when desperation meets opportunity and morality loses the fight. I learned that sometimes the truth comes from the most unexpected sources, that people you never met can save your life while people you trusted for years can destroy it without hesitation. And that integrity isn't about never falling, but about getting back up, even when you have every reason to stay down. The whole experience taught me that loyalty means nothing without honesty, that success built on lies always collapses eventually, and that sometimes the person who destroys you and the person who saves you can share the same last name for reasons that have nothing to do with you at all. If someone accused you of a crime you didn't commit and destroyed your career in a single morning, Then their spouse appeared offering evidence to save you but asked you to wait. While your reputation continued burning, would you trust them? Or would you act immediately to save yourself? And what does your answer say about whether you believe redemption is possible for people who finally choose truth over comfort? Leave your comment below.